Hello, my name is Elise and I'm a children's librarian at the Acton Memorial Library in Massachusetts. I also work in Needham and Wayland. I'm here today to do a family activity craft that I would say is good for ages 3, maybe 4 and up, and teens and younger kids will like this too. I call it marbling with glue and shaving cream, and we're going to do 2 different examples of how to do this project. Let me start with the supplies needed. Most of them are household items, but I have more that's needed today than usual. Okay, one of the first things you're going to need is shaving cream and also glue, any household glue. These are the 2 materials that we're going to put paint or watercolors on, and so this is what we'll be needing. Another thing you're going to need is cardstock, and I like small pieces for children, and you mainly want light colored. You could even use index cards that are used for note-taking. Those would work. Another way we're going to do this is on plastic lids. So these are some recycled plastic lids. I punched a hole and put in yarn. They could be hung as sun catchers. And now we're going to be using liquid watercolors and food coloring. You don't need to have these. You could also use regular watercolors. I buy these at craft stores and they're a lot of fun to use. You don't need a lot, but you will need some coloring. I have containers like this that I use for them and little pipettes, but you don't need to have this. You could also use containers like this or even containers this size. And you could use a paintbrush, dip it in and shake it on our painting surface. And we're also going to be needing tools. These are some of the tools that we're going to be using to make patterns in the shaving cream. I have everything here from a chopstick to a comb to a fork, a plastic fork, to spatulas, and any odd thing. You could even use a thin cake tester or toothpicks. Toothpicks work out really well. And so let's see. And here's the food coloring that I'll be using, regular food coloring, so that works fine. You're also going to use trays that are good for crafts that you don't mind putting shaving cream in. Everything we're using though is washable. Now, we're also going to need a tray for excess shaving cream. And I like this tool. It's like a membership card or a credit card for scraping the shaving cream off the paper. It works really well. And I think that's it. And paper towels, because you will get messy. And let me show you some of the examples I made. And now these are curled because they were just made a little while ago. They're mainly pastel papers, and they were put onto the shaving cream that was colored. I also made some of these sun catchers that when they dry, you can peel them out of these lids and hang them, or you could keep them in the lid, either way. And here's another one. They will need to dry once you've done them. So I want to show you some traditional forms of paper marbling. It's a method of using ink and paint and chemicals on water. Usually you use a big tray and you put layer in water and you put in inks and other chemicals that rest on top of the surface. You then lay a big piece of paper or a piece of cloth down, and you can end up with wonderful tools, with wonderful artwork. There's special tools that paper marblers use that create very nice patterns, but they're not necessary. Paper marbling has always been used in book arts. This is a very old book. It was used on the cover, but it has always been used on the inside covers, in the front and the back of books. Now, I have taken paper marbling classes with a woman named Christine Hajosi in Canton, Massachusetts. And we did some very fun things, putting masks on top of it. And also just regular paper. And she has wonderful inks that I used. And you come up with so many special, different kinds of things. Ours won't look exactly like this, but they will be fun. And you can experiment and do all kinds of things. So, we start by putting shaving cream in a plate. Now here's a plate that I already started. I layered shaving cream in, and then I dropped in the ink. And I'm going to do that quickly with the same plate. I won't even get rid of the old. And I'm just going to add shaving cream. I'm running out. I'm going to smooth it with a spatula. Okay, and that's it. And now I will show you how I add the ink or the food coloring. I'm using my liquid watercolors and the pipettes, and I just squeeze a little. I'm actually putting in a bit too much, and I want some yellow. Okay, I'm going to add more of that. And you can always add more, so it's really good to begin with less. I'm going to use a big fork for my pattern, and I'm just going to be doing this. And let's see what we get. That's sort of fun. It's better it's better to stop, make a print, and then you can continue. But the more you mix it, the more the colors get all mixed up. Okay, so let me take a piece of paper. This is one of the index cards. And I'm just going to layer it down and press it into the shaving cream like that. And now I'm going to get my tray and I'm going to lift it up. And there it is. And using the credit card or membership card, I'm going to put this down. Oh, this came out fun. And here is my artwork almost ready to show you. So, I like that. Now, I can use the same plate and just either mix it some more, add another color, keep experimenting. I've done things in different sizes. Maybe they're bookmarks. Maybe you'll make note cards with them. There's so much you could do. They could be the covers to little books that you make. Now, the glue one is very similar. You take your lid and you pour glue into it. You sprinkle in the paint. And on these, I like using toothpicks. And you just swirl it gently and you let it dry. Now, when these are dry, you can peel that glue out, or you can leave it in the lid and hang it. So this is a really easy craft. There is a little bit of cleanup, but it's really not bad. And you can do it for a long time. Let your kids just experiment. Shaving cream isn't that expensive, and it can give them lots of time just exploring patterns and colors and so on. So have a great time with this craft. Thanks.